It's 7:20 on a Saturday night? Let's do this. Good evening, Hampton Roads. Good evening, Northeast North Carolina. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of WTKR News 3 Television, and you are watching a special Saturday edition. We had a special Friday edition yesterday, but today's a special Saturday edition of a winter storm warning. What are you, that means you, what are you seeing now? Are you seeing snow or are you getting snow? You see the difference? See what people do to me? They've been doing this to me for years. They'll say, we're going to get some snow, we're going to see some snow. That means different things to different people. The verb can change and it means something entirely different, but I will get to that. At some point, precipitation has to change, and we'll end. I got some cameras right now. Show me the snow. Oh my goodness, look, I see Williamsburg. They're buried in snow. Hold the phone, hold the phone. I have on good authority that there was some snow on the ground at Colonial Williamsburg before this event, from like last weekend. Look, I mean, let's face it. Let's face it, if you've got Colonial Williamsburg, it's good for the ambiance, you know what I'm saying, for the tourists that come by. Have some snow with a horse and carriage, clump through the snow. But it looks like I got some good snow in Moyock. Yep. Southern Shores, yep. Norfolk, maybe a sugar coat on some vehicles, maybe. Not everybody's got the same thing. So I want to know what you've got. Let me know in the comments what you got. I want to go back to this. So this is the current radar, right? But I want to show you. Some people were waiting. Well, we're going to get some thunder snow. We got some thunder, all right, but it's over the open water. Have you seen those videos that are online with like, who am I thinking of? Some of you are like, I know exactly who you're talking about. I know it's Jim Cantori or some other local. Thunder snow. Woo. It's like, I used to get thunder snow all the time in Rochester, right? It simply means that you're getting more snow more rapidly. But what has happened? The thunder isn't at the Outer Banks. It's over here, right? It's throwing back some cold air and some snow here. So I am curious. I'm actually very curious how much snow you got. Come on, put out the totals in the comments section. I'm going to get to that. But this storm, my goodness, it's far-reaching. I said to you that there was a good chance, if I'm not mistaken, there was a good chance that you could get more snow in Columbia, South Carolina, suburbs of Atlanta, Knoxville, Chattanooga, Tennessee, maybe in Asheville, Bristol, Virginia, that they would get more snow perhaps than we got at Hampton Roads. And it's not over yet. It's not over yet, but I know what some of you are thinking. Didn't you used to work? I think you worked in Tennessee. I did. I was there for 15 years. But what's interesting to note here is that as I'm going to load a new picture here, I had this on great authority, not just good authority. I had this on great authority that this is what they got in Knoxville, at least West Knox County, 3 inches. You mean they got my 3 inches of snow? Yeah, sometimes it stretches out, right? So let me be clear. This is not local, but it is the same storm. So I guess it depends on your frame of reference, right? Everything is interconnected. I said that yesterday. But if you look at this picture here, and I come back on the camera here, you can see how wide this storm is, right? It's like that saltwater taffy. It's stretching out here to East Tennessee, and it's been stretching down here. But some people may be disappointed how much we get maybe on the Eastern Shore. Sure, you're going to see some snow on the Eastern Shore, but did you really get it? Like tomorrow morning, how much do you have left of it? Well, not much, sir, because it kept blowing around. It kept blowing around everywhere. Maybe. So let's get to the nitty-gritty. I'm going to zoom in, say goodbye to the lightning. That's not headed here. But it would appear that we've got some bands. Now, I know what you're also thinking. Is there any way, I know there's the snow there. Is there any way we could maybe enhance this picture a bit? Because, you know, it's like layers and layers of snow, and it's really hard to know what's evaporating and what's reaching the ground, what's not reaching the ground. So let's go to our Blues Clues version. Some of you know who Blues Clues are. Okay, so we're looking at some darker blues. All of this is coming up. But we only have probably hour and a half generously left. You mean that's all we have left? Do you know, I keep records, the Norfolk International Airport records. The snow started, ready, at 12:16 p.m. today. It did? Well, yeah, it was very faint. But when it's snowing during the day, you have a really, really hard time of it to stick. But now that it's dark, sun went down at 5:29. What have we got to show for it in Norfolk, Virginia Beach? It's been snowing since 12:16 this afternoon, and now I last checked, it's 7:25. So we've been snowing for over 7 hours, but you wouldn't feel it, know it, or necessarily say, look at all that snow we got. Because we haven't gotten much, and you're telling me we only got another hour and a half, 2 hours? Probably. In most cases in the 757, that is a factual statement. Maybe you get a little bit more extra time, certainly more time for the Outer Banks, because they're going to get to it. But look at this. I mean, you can see where the snow is. It looks pretty good. But I said that there would be a sharp cutoff. There would be a sharp, what we call a snow gradient, right? Huge cutoff. Like no snow, snow. No snow, snow. It's that simple. It really is that simple. And you can see that it is picked up. Some of the colors have brightened up a little bit in Chesapeake, Virginia Beach, Back Bay. That was the pivot point. That was going to be the inflection point before this storm went zippity-doo-dah up toward New England. But you can see it's really snowing hard in Norfolk, really snowing hard in Currituck. But how much longer is it going to do that? That's the operative question. You should be asking you how much longer. I'd probably say till 9:30 for many of us, because it could start to break down. The snow, the moderate snow, will break down. But look, it doesn't look like it's doing anything in Williamsburg. But they already had some from last week. They had some last weekend. Newport News, right? So you're telling me the line of demarcation, or this line right in here, that's it. That's it. You get a few more snow showers. But it looks like Matthews. Maybe Matthews has had some snow today. It's fallen from the sky, but maybe they didn't get it. They may have seen it, but they didn't actually get it. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we stand at this present time. I'm going to turn the floor back over to you, because I could go all night long. I've told you my important rule. My important rule was taught to me from a fellow meteorologist, that very important guy. But I won't go into the reasons why. But I think if you look at this, at some point, precipitation has to end. It could be true of a flood. It's like, why did he get 12 inches of rain and I only got a half inch? You know, just because at some point it has to stop, right? There's only so much snow and water to go in every direction. So we got 3 inches of snow in Knoxville. How much snow will you think you have by the time this thing ends in the next hour and a half, 2 hours? Maybe not much. So when I put this out, and I've had a version of this each and every night for the last couple of nights, I was in this 2 to 4. And boy, did I take heat Thursday night. Oh my goodness. People I know and even I don't know said 2 to 4. That's so irresponsible. Do you know the Weather Service went from 9.9 to 8.7, then they went to 7, then they went to 6, and now they're at 4.3? You should have listened to the Weather Service. If I did, I would have changed my forecast 4 times. No thanks. 2 to 4. Lower confidence for the 757. Higher confidence for North Carolina. Yes, they're still going to get a nasty storm here. I'm not going to discount that. This needs to be taken seriously in the Tar Heel State. But for all the snow lovers who might, I'm not saying you will, might start to whine, I didn't get what I hoped to, all that you bought into earlier in the week, because it all moved south. And I got crucified. How do you know it's going to move south? Because I worked in Rochester, New York for 4 years. I've been doing this for a while. I have a few reps in the gym with the snow forecasting. But I can tell you, you've already gotten some places in North Carolina. I've had 7 inches of snow already. It's mainly down toward Newport, Morehead City, and it's piling up. It's piling up even as I speak. Now it breaks apart across toward Danthe. They may have some rain off the coast, but it looks like it's getting cold enough to get some snow bands. There may be a big dry area there. But again, the expectation from the jump was that it would be mainly in North Carolina for the heavy snows. Now, for those weather venues and weather aficionados that like to post stuff on social media, on a Tuesday for a weekend storm, you scared everybody. Like, they were posting snow totals, 2 feet, a foot and a half, we're getting 18, we're getting 24. Where are those people now? Where are they? I don't hear them. I've heard some apologies already. Why would you do that? More importantly, why would you do that on a Tuesday before a big event this weekend? Because you know what? Our local economy depends on an accurate assessment. That's my soapbox. It's not responsible to put up these lofty totals. If you ever play Price is Right, you ever watch Price is Right, you don't get on stage if you overbid, right? They started at 9.9. That was their starting bid. Get you in trouble. And then these storms will come back to haunt you. By the way, as we look at the big story, cold air, low pressure, storm off the coast. I told you it was another low that was coming off of Cuba, off the Bahamas, and it's almost like a Fujiwara effect. They're kind of dancing together, dancing in the stars or dancing with the flakes. There they go. And we had this monster high that came down from Fargo, 1047 high, now about 1042 down near Oklahoma City. Now, do we have a winter storm warning for virtually everybody? The answer is yes, until 7. And I don't want to discount the snow because, again, this is a multifaceted storm. Our next concern, and it is a concern, it's the increasing wind. Some of you think it's been windy all day, and it has. But if you've been watching my live stream all week, I said windy on Saturday, could be worse on Sunday. My feeling now is that the 7-hour window from 10 p.m. tonight to 5 a.m. on Sunday is that 7-hour window where the winds will be at their worst. The 7-hour window, which means if you still have power by 5 o'clock tomorrow morning, pat yourself on the back and give your power company a big kudos. Because the 7 hours, I think, are going to be tough. We could see winds 50, 55, 60 at the Outer Banks. Could be way higher, but you're going to find a big stress on these trees that are collecting snow, especially further south or where snow has been present. And there's been quite a bit of it already in North Carolina. The high wind warning lasts until tomorrow afternoon, and in the light brown areas are the high wind warnings, the wind advisory. Got a note here, I got to check in. I got so much stuff on my plate here. Bear with me. And I am solo here, so let me just show you what I thought was an interesting comment. This is from our buddy, I don't know him, but he says his name is Joe Diggs. This man knows about snow. He's tapping on the screen. He's entertaining as all get out. I don't know what he forecasted, but this was solid airtime. Well, thank you, Joe. I dig your comment, and I'm glad you're here. I hope that you have a great and safe storm. All right. Some people, I always think about the kids too. Kids love this stuff, right? You just get them in the backyard, and they might come in because it's super cold, but it'll be even colder in the morning. Got wind chills tomorrow morning. It could be -4, -3. It's gonna be brutal. So let me get some newer comments in here. Won't be hard to do. Let's see. Will was saying, what was it? Genuine talk. Yeah, that's what we do here. Genuine talk about weather. Just want to keep it straight, keep it honest, keep it real. I mean, I don't waste your time. Oh, this is funny. I want to give kudos to Jenny. She left this comment 13 hours ago. 13 hours ago, she says, no snow here. I don't know where here is. But if you will follow her lead, you can attach your snow picture on the comment, because there's a little camera icon on Facebook, and you'll get not only your photo, which you can see that you provide Facebook, so Jenny's there, but this was left 13 hours ago. I don't think anybody had snow 13 hours ago. Well, Williamsburg did, because it was from last weekend. All right, so anyway, where we are right now is a little bit in the way of transition time, because I'm going to import the newer comments. And those comments, as you can see from the wind advisories, are part of the story. Let's talk about wind. I want you to focus on the Outer Banks. I'll go ahead and zoom or circle. These are the hot spots that we'll be watching. Sure, it's going to be no picnic on the south side, but this represents 8 o'clock tonight. And when I look at the current wind speed in Norfolk International at this hour, and it's almost 7:33. Last check, the winds were north at 25, northeast at 25, and it's gusting 36. So 24 feels like 9 degrees. It's felt like 9. It's felt like the single digits all day. But if we advance this forward, 11 o'clock tonight, this jumps up to 56. Can we get a 60? There it is. Ding, 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 ding. Hey, that 1 o'clock in the morning, that falls right in that 7-hour window I said between 10. I'll go ahead and write it out since a lot of us are visual learners. Tonight, 10 to 5. 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. tomorrow. There's 7 hours. I think the winds are going to be at their crescendo. They're going to reach a fever pitch. So, you know, it's not going to get better in the next 20 minutes for the winds. It could very likely get worse. So brace yourselves. This is all coming to a neighborhood near you. Very happy that you're here. In all seriousness, these storms can be very difficult to forecast, as I've said many times before. My weather team may have heard this before, but let me say it again. All forecasts are not created equal, right? We're trying to earn your trust here at WTKR. The First Warning Weather Team has been on this, but we don't hype stuff up, right? And what do you gain by doing that? It's kind of like when you do a news report, right? Do you want to be the first out there, or do you want to be right? I like to be accurate, give you an accurate assessment. Sometimes we don't know. So we'll do a probability, right? There's a higher probability the big snow totals will be in North Carolina. We did that too back on Wednesday. But on Thursday, we put our first snow map out there. And so people make hay of it or not. But I just want you to know that we appreciate you here. And any comments and thoughts and comments that you might have will be appreciated. I got some new notes here. I got Taj Brown. Taj Brown is about 26 seconds ago. He says, yes, it is a Newtown area. Windy just outside in it. Wow. Okay, so we got that. And this is the other question. I love this. Where's the snow? That's a good question. Rena, I hope maybe people will answer that question for you, because at some point, precipitation has to end. We drew a little line between Matthews and, say, Newport News, right? It's snowing in some parts, but some people are bewildered. I got a note from Christy. Christy's on here. She says it's very, very windy in Jarvisburg. I imagine it would be. Let's see in here. We got others. Let's see. Cameron is going to be greatly disappointed when he says little flurries near Bayside. Did I say it already that our confidence is low for the 757 for accumulating snow? Sure, you'll see snow fall, But when it's all said and done in the next hour, hour and a half, for many of us in the 757, will you send your questions like, is that all we're getting? And I said, yeah. But at the same time you say that, there's somebody in North Carolina going, help. Anybody, help? Can somebody help me? I lost my power. I got blowing and drifting. We got to think about the people who are being impacted, right? Let's not just only think about, maybe our neighborhoods are important, but let's think about outside our neighborhood. What about those other neighbors that might be encouraged? Hey, stay off the road so the crews can do their cleaning. We like to be in a hurry and get someplace, but if you're impeding the cleaning up of the snow or the salting of the roads, that could be a problem too. All right, so we've talked about Sunday. This is the peak, right? That's, I think, the only 60 I've got on this model data. But if I carry this a few hours later, it drops to 50 at 4 a.m. Still 46, though, for the eastern shore. It's no picnic here, still close to 40 south side, about 38 for inland North Carolina. And imagine there's still quite a bit of snow in this area, as it will continue on in this area through much of the evening and into the early morning hours of tomorrow. But by midday tomorrow, I don't think anybody's seeing snow actively fall, but you know what it's going to be doing at noontime tomorrow? What snow is on the ground is going to swirl. We call that blowing and drifting, right? Poor visibility. I got white out. They say, it's not snowing anymore. Well, I've got the snow. It was like when John Hood, he did a report during our 6:30 newscast. He said the sand was blowing in his eyes at Virginia Beach, right? So if the sand can blow in his eyes at the beach, imagine what that's like when the snow is blowing in your face and it's not actually snowing anymore. Tomorrow, most of the day should be snow-free from the sky, but you still have to deal with blowing and drifting because these winds look like they mean business. Now, 5 o'clock tomorrow evening, it looks like it's slowing down just a wee bit as it's down to 15 for inland Virginia. All right, we talk about blizzard. Could this be described as blizzard-like conditions for North Carolina? I think yes. I mean, we saw a lot of wind in that little illustration. But the question is, will visibility be down to a quarter mile or less for at least 3 hours? Then yes, you can say it's like a blizzard out there. And not everybody's going to have that experience, but some will. Let's get to this map because this is where you might start to say, hey, he's kind of right. It's not doing anything anymore. Here's 8 o'clock. Last I checked, that's 22 minutes from now. Tell me if I were an optometrist, and I'm not, I'm a meteorologist. If I showed you two pictures, is this better or worse? Every time I go to the eye doctor, they ask me that same question. I always say, about the same. Better? Is this better or worse? Is this better at 8 o'clock or is this worse? Well, it looks like it's saying that's 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. Maybe you need a closer 9 o'clock. But then by 10, 11 o'clock, oh, you broke my heart. The snowflakes are leaving Norfolk. Oh, it's 11 o'clock. It's gone. Oh, no, it won't. It's over. Oh, well, easy come, easy snow. There you go. So you know what I mean? This is one of those things that it's not just about this part, even though, well, this is a large part of our viewing area. It's not just about the snow element. It's a multifaceted storm. Do you notice that it says 26 here? It's the wind, and we didn't even get to the tidal flooding. I want to get into that in the nitty-gritty here coming up. So yes, the snow may be what everyone's talking about, but really what you should be talking about, if you lose power, you'll be, I wish I had a plan in place a while back, because I didn't expect this. Even at 5 in the morning, who's getting snow? Dare County? Okay. Manio, Roanoke Island? Sure. Kill Devil Hills? 5 a.m.? Sure. But even then it's starting to wind down, because there's a few flurries for Virginia Beach. That just comes up out of nowhere. But that's just like it's leaving the party, right? There it goes. So the rest of your morning is dry. The rest of your afternoon appears to be dry. And the clouds are breaking too. So I would describe tomorrow as decreasing clouds for the afternoon. And also winds. Winds will slow down a little bit tomorrow afternoon as well too. So this just gives you an idea. I'm also going to get into some snow maps because some of you are like, I wish they could have told us about this earlier. Well, we've already looked at the winds. Now, the worst tidal flooding is tomorrow morning. We've already talked about 30 to 50 plus. We could even say 60 potentially. But the sub-zero wind chills tomorrow morning will really catch your attention. So let me just underline sub-zero wind chills. And the snowfall continues in those hours we just highlighted. I got a note from This Is Sad. I don't know what he's sad about, but hey, it is what it is. Mike Nichols says, let's see here. Somebody's mad. I don't know if it's Mike. But he says he's been reading comments and he's big mad. So there can be people mad. Maybe they didn't get what they expected. But I will draw your attention to that fact Facebook does. Facebook keeps our live streams on for 30 days and then they suddenly disappear. But I have them all on my YouTube channel. You can check them out there. But I have been saying the same thing. It's too early to tell. Don't. assume you're getting 18 inches or 19, 24 inches of snow. And that's what some people tried to sell you by just posting the GFS model and thought they were immune from any responsibility. Wind gusts 30 to 50 plus. Now, as far as the bigger picture, there has been maybe some mixing around areas near Rodanthe. We saw them drying and seeing some dry areas there. But that was pretty much the only area that was to see a mix. Because as this system pulls away, those lines of equal pressure, those isobars, while they're tightly packed at tomorrow morning, they do start to spread out a little bit as the storm pulls away tomorrow. So the winds will show signs of slowing down as Sunday afternoon draws near. I've talked about the strong winds. The full moon is tomorrow, even though we're not likely to see it maybe until tomorrow night. That also has some gravitational pull on the tides and the power outages. That's also a big concern for me, especially between 10 p.m. tonight and 5 a.m. tomorrow. So I'm trying to carry this forecast down the road for us, advance the story. It's not about the snow or lack thereof. It is still a snow story for North Carolina, but for us, I think the winds will be the bigger story and probably a bigger disruption for those of you that didn't get what you wanted in the snow category. Now, the tide forecast will be peaking tomorrow morning. We're anywhere from minor at Sewell's Point to major at Lynn Haven River, to major tidal flooding in Duck, and then Kipta Peak should be moderate. So you're looking at 4 to 9 feet there. Please be extra careful. You will see that as another added bonus coming to a neighborhood near you. Now, I say that sarcastically because if you look at the full moon, it is called the full snow moon. This is the wolf moon, the 3rd of January. Anytime you get a full moon in January, Farmer's Almanac calls it the full wolf moon. This Saturday, that's tonight, it's technically if my resources are correct from online, it's 98% full tonight, but it's 100% full tomorrow. And tomorrow, of course, is February 1st. Can you believe it? We're already into February tomorrow, and then Monday is Groundhog Day. So let me get to Duck. Duck has concerns. We're looking at North Carolina here for 7 a.m. tomorrow. So if you, how bad would it be if you got 4 to 8 inches of snow in North Carolina, had tidal flooding of 6.7 feet, major flooding, and you had a loss of power? Now you're beginning to see why they issued a winter storm warning, right? You're beginning to see wisdom that, hey, good thing they put that in place. But the better question is, what did you do when that information was communicated with you? Did you just go, we'll see it, I'll believe it when I see it? That's okay. There's some, in this day and age, a little bit of skepticism probably isn't a bad idea. But this is likely to have a big impact on the areas around North Carolina, around Duck. I just want to make sure you're aware of it. Then it becomes more of a nuisance flooding issue, 7 p.m. Sunday and right into Monday at 7 a.m. That's the latest guidance that we have from the hydrologist, from our weather service. So meanwhile, we look at Sewell's Point, 5.3. It's minor. This has come down a hair, but not much, a hair from this morning. So the expectation is it'll be a minor flood issue. Sewell's Point, so Lake Olney here outside of Bush Street here where we live, work rather, and feel like we live and work. That'll be up to about 5.3 tomorrow. Now, when we talk about the inch of snow, I know this may be your fun part. This is the fun part, right? Some people are like, tell me about snow. Well, we have either a 10 to 1, 15 to 1, or 20 to 1. But the fact that the snow at Norfolk International, according to their airport records, started at 12:16 this afternoon. That means it's been snowing for well over 7 hours. And you didn't see much going on or sticking because what was happening was a lot of it was evaporating because we had sub-zero dew points, dry air. And now we know we didn't get above 26. I think 26 occurred, 26 occurred at 12:30 this morning. I think we were like 24, 25 for much of the day, if that at all. So I just thought I'd show you some of the data, right? These models are really bad at 6 days out. In fact, they're pretty awful at 5 days out. And when you have a storm that's right on the edge, sometimes you need a day for them to finally put it together. So if you look at the latest GFS model, by the way, this is the same the model that said we were getting 24 inches last Tuesday. Did I bite on that? No, because I know this thing stinks with its physics. So let that be known to all our social media posters. The physics on that, really kind of iffy. 6 days out, 5 days out. 1 to 2, 2 to 5. That's about what it is now. That finds all falls in line. I had 2 to 4, right? But then they've got some maybe higher amounts here. But very little. Interesting. That's the GFS model. So if you're a weather nerd, you might love this. 0.1, 0.5. That's a trend that looks pretty dry up here. And then there's the 2.5 to 3. Oh, and then we got 3.5 or more here. Oh, and what about the European? European's always very trustworthy, some people think. Dry up here, 1.5, 2. There's going to be some major disappointment. Some of you have already gotten this snow. Some of the snow this is future snow. This is a forecast snow. So this would be on top of what North Carolina's already had. That's how that could be interpreted. And then, of course, the graph model also showing 1, 2, and then maybe a little bit more for the Outer Banks before it's all said and done tomorrow. Okay, so where were you, Aldrich? I was kind of here. I left that 4 to 8 for Back Bay, Currituck, and 8 may be a little bit high at this stage, but let's let the storm run its course. Lower confidence for the 757, higher confidence that North Carolina gets the accumulating snow. So I left flurries to 1 inch. That might be 1 inch on top of the snow you got Williamsburg from last weekend, but it really is pretty dry up there, and it's almost probably done here in the next hour, hour and a half. Our low is 21 degrees. That's actually I think that's our current, 21 occurred at 8:28 this morning. If I'm not mistaken, at 26 was our high at 12:30 a.m. Another upside down day. Just blustery, cold. Our current reading here at 7:46 is 23 Norfolk, Suffolk at 21, 17 Ahoskie, and 23 in Currituck. The wind chills. This is all you need to see. I mean, I don't know why I show you the temperature, because that's how it feels if you have to go outside and do some errands. And again, I want to caution you, if you have to get on a highway, please make room so that the salt crews and the crews can work on the roads. They need that. We owe it to them to get out of their way. 5 is what it feels like right now in Elizabeth City. Now it just dropped to 4. Did you see that? 9 in Melfa, 9 in Newport News, feels like 7 in Franklin. I got some other notes from you. I'm just checking over my shoulder. See, Renee is figuring this out. Ding, 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 ding. Renee goes to the head of the class. Renee says, and I read it, I don't see much in Norfolk right now. That's what I suspected. At some point, wait for it, precipitation has to end. And it's ending in your neighborhood. Probably ending in Ghent. Probably going to be ending pretty soon in Chesapeake. But we'll let it run its course. We'll look at the radar again before I'm done. But I find it fascinating that will be the reaction, that all this was brought to mind as far back as early this week, and people were sold a bill of goods. Because when you're that far out, we just don't know. Well, I know what some of the younger people are like, well, I know you don't know, but you can at least tell us what you think. You do that game, and then you're right back to, well, you could get this, and you could get that. You could get 24 inches, and you could get nothing. What good is that? Just let it run its course. Let the models do their thing, all right? It's like everybody wants to raid the meteorologist tool chest and say, I'll make sense of it, and now everybody's left confused. Look at this. Please don't be confused. We are confident, all of us, everybody in the sound of my voice, going to be pretty cold at tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. That's sub-zero. This is why I say the winds are going to be nasty, the cold air is just getting started, and the fact that we could have tidal flooding really compounds the issue. I am looking out after you. I want you to take this seriously. Take the opportunity to make sure your pets are cared for. Don't put them out in that environment for a very long time. They don't have to go outside to do their business, but do what you can to take care of your pets, the very old, the very young, and everybody in between. Because even at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, it still feels like 15 degrees. But I thought you were forecasting now 26. Yeah, 26. That's what we got today. I'm doing a persistence forecast tomorrow. We're lucky to get 26 tomorrow, if we're lucky. But it's not going to feel like 26. No. It's going to feel like it's 11, 14. Throw in some snowpack, it's probably feeling colder. It's like putting a big icy blanket on your bed. I don't recommend that. Just the thought of it's pretty painful. Look at that. Sunday's planner, blowing snow. You mean it's going to be snowing at 7 a.m.? No, it's just going to be blowing the stuff that's on the ground. If you don't have any, then it's probably not blowing, right? It's common sense. But if you're in North Carolina, my friend, it's going to be like, shh. Have you ever seen like dust devils in the desert? If you ever go to Vegas and you're in a rental car, did that years ago with the family, you see these little dust devils blow up and you're like, whoa, is that coming to the car? You'd hope not. But you get these little swirls. You'll see them in between buildings, high rises too. 19, 23, 26. Clouds will break, but those are the winds. That's what's absolutely horrible for weather, is the gusts 40 to 50. Now they might be a little stronger on the front end of the day and then decreasing rapidly by the second half of the day. I hope that makes sense, but that's what I wanted you to plan for tomorrow. Precipitation chances I've dropped to 30%. Once the sun's up, most of it's gone. I think Monday's a beautiful, mostly sunny day. I think Thursday's a mostly sunny day, but there could be a few drops or flakes coming in on Wednesday. We'll keep an eye on that. Not a big deal, but of course, leave it to GFS model to hype up something that's not hypeable. Okay, 44 on Tuesday. Look at that. Doesn't that sound warm? When's the last time you can remember 44 sounding like a warm day? Probably not a long time ago, I guess. But we haven't been above freezing since Wednesday morning at 12:26. So we've got like 4 or 5 days finally getting above freezing on Monday. It's going to take a long time. We've been holding our breath. Now there's the storm, the upper air pattern. Here it is. You can see I said it's going to come off of Savannah, not Myrtle Beach. If it had come off Myrtle Beach, we probably would have been in this snow zone across the 757. Not happening. We're getting some snowflakes, but it comes back down to, are you seeing snow? Are you getting snow? I think you're probably getting snow if you're in North Carolina, but whether you're going to walk away with a lot when it's done in the 757 is still debatable. It's going to be on the lower end of your expectations, I suspect. Once we go into, say, Wednesday the 4th, it looks like temperatures moderate a bit, but give it time. Give it time. I think it's the polar plunge just in time. Next weekend, man, I didn't see that coming. It's coming back. It'll get cold again. It'll get cold for next Saturday. And then everybody will be like, I didn't know that was going to happen. It's going to happen, right? Just in time. It may be actually warmer in the ocean than it is when you're having to be outside doing the polar plunge. But it's for a great cause, for the Special Olympics. So I encourage you to sign up and be a part of it. I'll be out there, do my best to be out there on the 7th under the tent. I don't know if I'll take the plunge, but I will cheer you on if you are so inclined. Upper air pattern showing a little bit of moderation as we head toward the 10th of February. Got some other notes here. I believe, let's see. Oh, yeah, I think somebody's talking about not too happy. Let's see here. I see people are very angry. They don't like the fact we're not getting much snow. It's amazing how that happens. People were hoping for lots of snow. Like I said, this was people, and somebody asked me the other day, they said, you should, what was it they said? You should follow the weather service. I said, why? They were at 9.9 on Thursday. Then on Thursday afternoon, they changed their tune and went to 8.7, and then they went to 7, and they went to 6 this morning. Now they're down to 4.3 for Norfolk. So it's a losing battle. I don't recommend putting out snow maps before it's time. It's kind of like, sounds like a wine commercial. You don't open wine before it's time. You don't put it out there for the consumer to digest until you have more confidence. And we didn't have it from the get-go. I can tell you that. And I look at this stuff all the time. But you can see, at least down the road, there is going to be some other opportunities for cold air to plunge downward, and we're going to continue to see that in the 757, but there will be some moderation too. The 26 degrees happened at 12:30 this morning. The Weather Service keeps highs on a 24-hour scale. That rounds out the month of January. It was a colder than average January. I can't argue that, but I will say that it wasn't necessarily as cold as last January. Last month, December, we were 4.5 degrees below normal. In this case, I believe we're probably closer, let me get you the right number here. Yeah, we're right about almost 2, negative 1.8 as of yesterday. So we'll probably finish about 2 degrees below average. But think about this. How many weeks ago? 1, 2, 3, or I like to do my numbers here. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3. 3 weeks ago, we had a record high on a Saturday. Nobody's remembering that now, David. You can't remember what you probably had for breakfast 3 weeks ago. You probably don't remember the weather 3 weeks ago, but people were basking in the 75-degree weather that we had a record high. It's pretty amazing. And today was just 26. So hard to believe how times can change, but that's how the weather pendulum swings. Okay, here's the wind chill forecast again. -4 at 7 a.m., -7 for the eastern shore. This is tough. It's not easy to take. 6 at the Outer Banks. Notice once we go into the wind chill forecast at noon, it feels like 9. And as I mentioned, if you're lucky, it might feel like it's in the mid-teens. Outer Banks may be closer to 11 tomorrow. I urge you to download the First Warning Weather app. Why? Because you might get other information that you might not have if you lose power. You might also get benefits of getting the when these high wind warnings expire. All of that information comes right to your phone. It's very handy to have, and it's free. Also, having a no-weather radio with multiple sources just makes sense, especially when wind can take out the power while you sleep. You want to be constantly in the know with notifications. The satellite radar shows there's a storm system that's affecting, I guess you're talking about Pacific Northwest at this point. If you're in the military and you have family out west, a little shower activity around northwestern sections of Washington. There's some snow showers this evening just on the west side of Minneapolis and down toward parts of Nebraska. It's snowing obviously here, and we can look at this storm system. And as I can say, a lot of this energy is now being kind of spread out like a piece of saltwater taffy going every which way here. So it's not like it didn't snow. It's just that Amazon shipped your snow to Charlotte, or UPS sent it to Knoxville, or they sent some of it to the Atlanta suburbs with FedEx. All of it was still in the making. It just was depleted from up here. People want to know why, but people often don't want to understand or appreciate the why. And a lot of times you can't know that 5-6 days in advance. It's pretty hard to do. Today, 31st, right through the 10th of February, you can see that storm disappears. What about the next opportunity of cold air? Oh, that's coming in on Wednesday the 4th, where I said it's probably drops and flakes. It looks like drops and flakes to me through the 757, but maybe more flakes for Jersey and Delaware and Maryland. Then there's this opportunity, a little Alberta clipper comes down later on, and that could be toward the polar plunge, but even that starts to fall apart. So it's not going to give you what you're looking for if your appetite is for snow and nothing but snow. All right, these are the dew points, all right, temperatures rather. Temperatures here, these are the temperatures. Look at this. It was snowing in Florida today, everybody. That means Tallahassee might have had more snow than you. Oh, you're just rubbing it in, Aldrich. No, I'm just trying to give you the honest assessment of what we're looking at. When you have a polar plunge this deep, and believe me, you know Florida, they don't like having frozen orange juice, but that's where they are. They're below freezing right now in Tallahassee, and our friends in New Orleans right now are at 32. It's brutal. It's brutal, but it's how cold is it up far north? It's not that bad. It's not sub-zero. It's just 18 at Island Lake, Canada, and it's 16 in Minneapolis. So really depends on where you are. Roanoke is almost as cold as our northern Canadian neighbors, but because the dew points I am hearing is because they were so low, we couldn't get snow. Well, that might be part of the story, but the fact that dew points have been in the teens here, they got snow in Knoxville, but maybe it was earlier today, but dew points are maybe a little double digits here in some cases. Now they're double digits at Virginia Beach. It's been single digits most of the day, but you got, -2 in Beckley. Very, very dry air. It's like Chapstick City, and lotion goes a long way on your knuckles in wintertime. Future temperatures continue to show this highway, and I'll point your attention to February. I was thinking September. February 7th is the polar plunge. WTKR News 3 is a sponsor of the Special Olympics event, and we'll be excited about that multiple day event, but you can see that cold air. Cold air is typically dry. It doesn't necessarily mean a snowstorm. There's a misnomer that, oh, it's going to get cold, so we're automatically going to get snow. No, you need a pairing of the moisture and the cold air, and sometimes that magic doesn't happen every year in Virginia Beach, or so I'm told, because we got one here at 10.2 inches on February 19th of 2025. So remember those days? That's not this storm. Might be closer to that, maybe 4 to 8 for much of North Carolina, but even still, they will survive. They will get through this. Everybody will get through this, I am sure. The temperature outlook for the 6th of February through the 10th of February looks like that, and the 8th through the 14th. That takes us through Valentine's Day. I said that Valentine's Day was going to be what? And for those of you that watch me on a regular basis, I say cold, cold, cold. It would be just another reason on Valentine's Day to hug your honey, cuddle your cutie, and snuggle your sweetie. As if you need another reason to do that on Valentine's Day. But below normal temperatures are projected and will stay like this for a little while longer. All right, so here we go. Eastern Shore tomorrow, about 27 for Bloxham. That's our windy graphic. You like those little icons? It looks windy and looks very, very cold in Saxis at 27, 26 in Onancock and Exmoor, 28 in Cape Charles, very cold there. Kill Devil Hills, Nags Head, maybe a few lingering snow flurries and flakes with blowing, drifting, not all the most pleasant of weather. Rodanthe could see early morning snow, and so could Hatteras and Ocracoke, with early highs of maybe around 31 degrees. So this is the big story. Obviously, this storm's going to pull away, and then it'll be a faded memory, and everybody will be tuning into the Grammys on CBS, which is WTKR. We mentioned the very strong winds, talked about the power outages, so let me get to the forecast. For tomorrow morning, there could still be blowing and drifting, or just plain old cloudy skies. Just depends on where you are. I mean, the winds are going to be howling, and so if you have a little bit of snow on the ground, it could be circulating and swirling in the wind. Tonight's low is about 16 Franklin, 17 Gloucester, about 18 Hampton and 18 Elizabeth City, 17 Moyock and 18 Smithfield. Those are my expected lows, but they could be colder if you have a snowpack or snow cover underfoot, and that's really in the Tar Heel State. Highs tomorrow will struggle, I think, to get out of the mid-20s. A very cold day. Portsmouth might be 29, but that might be generous. I think you've got a very cold wind. 26 Melfa, 29 Corolla, about 30 for Gatesville, Hertford, and about 31 for Murfreesboro. Here's your 7-day forecast. Delaying it no further. 34. Now imagine this. This is a 10-degree jump here, right? So we're going to go from 34 to 44. And we'll go from 22 to 32. So you could say that the mornings are going to be getting a little bit not as nasty, and the highs will be getting a little milder. So we're now thinking about snow melt. When is, well, that's assuming you got snow. Snow melt. When's it going to melt? Well, we need some warmer air. One day at 44 isn't going to do it necessarily in Williamsburg or all places, but we'll wait and see. 45 here. I got some late night flurries coming in Friday night, but then it should set the stage for a Saturday that's probably closer to 40. But we'll have to wait and see on this little clipper system. So that's where things are. I mentioned we go back to the radar, so let's do it. It's 8:01. This would be a good chance for me to open the floor for observations. If you've got snow reports, even better if you have a snow picture. If you got a snow picture, I would love to see that. And we can put it right here. It's real easy. If you got the Napa know-how, you can just attach your photo to the comment, and magic presto changeo, it should be coming up on my system. Glad to see that too. Let's see here. Where are we going on this? Shirley, probably not too happy about snow here. She says, let it all blow. Do I have this right? Let it all blow to North Carolina. And she's laughing. Well, see, I mean, I can laugh at a good joke too. I think it's funny. We were talking about the other day how people will tend to overreact in terms of their grocery shopping, right? I've shown this before, but if you're our first-time viewer, you might find it funny that people do this, right? This is just an AI-generated jokey joke, laughy laugh, that nobody's going to get that much toilet paper. And some of you are like, well, I'll get a little bit of toilet paper. I'll get some bread and milk, but I hope that you'll get something more substantial than just bread and milk. Grocery stores, they do serve more things and have more offerings than just those two staples. All right, looking at the snow, looks like it's pretty ominous, right? But it does look like it's having a hard time getting into really Sussex and Surrey and Williamsburg. That's not to say you couldn't have some flakes, but the drier air seemingly is taking hold. And those dry dew points, really low dew points, probably aren't helping. So it's putting some exerting, you like that word? It's exerting pressure. And this is, at some point, I keep telling people this, they don't understand. At some point, precipitation has to end. Seems like it's ending along the yellow line, the yellow brick road. You might not have much more snow, and what you see outside, you say, that's it. And I'm going to say with a big smile, as I've been saying now for more than 24 hours, I said, that's it. That's all you're getting tonight. And some people will love it. Some people will hate it. I'm just the messenger. That's all I am. Just doing my best to serve you. And I really want you to take care of your neighbors. Because you know what? There are some neighbors, they can't take care of themselves. They need a little bit of, hey, you know what? Maybe you shouldn't go out and pump gas in this weather. Some people will do anything. They're on their normal routine. This is not normal weather when you got wind chills. They're headed to sub-zero tonight and morning tomorrow. Or the fact that we've got snow-covered roads, especially here. We're going to have some problems, right? And we could lose power overnight. You say, well, I haven't lost power yet. Wait for that 7-hour window from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. That's when I believe the winds are at their strongest, and we are all of us are susceptible for maybe a flickering of the power. Maybe it only goes out for 10 or 20 minutes and comes back on. That'd be great, right? Maybe we're none the wiser because we're sound asleep. But whatever the case, please be extra careful. And this is a great opportunity to take care of one another because we are all we've got. Now you can see it does show a little bit of rain off the coast of Hatteras, but these little bands, I call it a Blues Clues. It's the Blues Clues radar mosaic. You love seeing that with the clouds. So there's the 7-day forecast, 26, 34, 44. Any questions? Now's the time to let me know what you're seeing. Let's see, Gary Gaines is on here. He's got a follow-up note here. It says they just don't understand the complexity of forecasting the weather, having to look at 4 different computer models to get an accurate forecast. Oh, there's way more than that, Gary. We have as many computer models at our disposal as there are breakfast cereals at the grocery store, right? How many breakfast cereals are at your grocery store? Well, we got Apple Jacks, we got Frosted Flakes, we got shredded wheat, we got Sugar Smacks or whatever. You have all kinds of, right? You got oodles and oodles of data. But even if you have the most accurate forecast, if you gleaned a few Apple Jacks, some Corn Flakes, put them all in the same bowl because your goal is for a complete forecast or a complete breakfast, you put it all in the same bowl and you think this has got to be the winner, this has got to be the winner, you're not going to get to that point on a Tuesday for a weekend event. You're just not. We're not that good. And machine learning is only learning from, it's like the blind leading the blind. The machines are going to learn what? How these models are getting them wrong? I think it's a bigger problem than that. It's this impulse that we've got to be the first to put numbers out. It's this impulse that we want to just shock people because we get a dopamine hit when they cause anxiety to cause some other people. It's just it's a lose-lose in my opinion. And it also is a credibility destroyer if you're a venue that's trying to build credibility. And I'm trying to get people to understand that weather is highly dynamic. When the big storm does hit, and you got one last February on the 19th, that was a substantial storm. That's, then we sound the alarm, right? Patrick Rocky was under the helm at this Chiefs job when that storm unfolded. So I know they did a great job at that storm, getting it out there. We want to make sure people are safe in North Carolina tonight because in some cases they're going to have a bigger problem by morning. I see here, the roads. Stacy had a follow-up question. It's a great time to Q&A here. You probably talked about it. I'm assuming the roads, she says, are going to be good early tomorrow morning. Well, it depends on where good is and what your definition of good is. You're going to have possibly a loss of power. You might lose power, Stacy. You don't know the unknown, right? I don't know in the 7-hour window of 10 o'clock tonight to 5 a.m. Sunday that you could lose power. And now, if you're joining us late, you say, where did that window come from? That was from you're benefiting from my research, right? I've been looking at all of the profiles, been looking at the data, and that's what I came up and presented to my newsroom. I said, we could lose a lot of power, but of course, all the power companies, they're working on this, so there's a bit of an unknown, right? We're going to get 50, 55, 60 mile-an-hour wind gusts. I don't know if you lose power tonight in the overnight. There's still some overnight fear. So if you're just checked out, like, oh, I didn't get the snow I wanted, and then pout, you miss the other element, because I told you it's multifaceted. There's the winds, there's the tidal flooding, there's the power outage we don't know, and I don't know what your level of skill in driving. Because having lived in Rochester, I'm very skilled at driving in the snow. Some people aren't. So to say the road is good, whether it's bad, it's passable, I always encourage to let the folks who drive or who are treating the roads, give them the opportunity to clear the roads and do it. Let's see here. Tosh Brett says, we love it here. I love it here too. I'm glad you're here. Brenda says, Brenda's echoing everyone's thought. I'm seeing nothing. Where's the snow? Oh, Brenda, don't you know it's at some point precipitation has to end. That's it, right? It's one of those things. Why did you get an inch of rain in summertime and I only got a half an inch? Something like that, right? You can pull your hair out trying to figure out why did the line suddenly get drawn here? Well, until everyone is clairvoyant, which none of us are, or omnipresent, which none of us are, we just have to take what we have. And I can tell you this, the people that we saw a live shot with Coulter, one of our multimedia journalists, Coulter Edstead, was down in Elizabeth City. It looked like a winter wonderland down there. I mean, it looked vastly different than the snow that was falling in Norfolk during the broadcast of tonight. Got a couple of notes. Back roads, Ambler is absolutely right. Definitely make sure you're careful. We want to make sure, because you know what? You never know. Maybe grandma's getting on the roads tonight. See, that's where you can help your grandma. Say, hey, grandma, have you heard the forecast? If you think you're getting to North Carolina tonight, you might have some challenges. Let's see here. Ashley, honesty. There's some honesty. I like it. As teachers, we want to know if the snow will stick or not. If you're in North Carolina, the answer is yes. If you're in the 757 and you only got this much or this much, it might stick around. I mean, we're not going to get out of the 20s, but what may happen, and if you're a science teacher, you'd love this, when the temperature, I don't have it any higher than 26, when the sun breaks out tomorrow, some of the sunlight may cause the snow to disappear. Now, if you technically say, oh, well, the snow melted, that would be not right. That's not an accurate description. When the temperature is 26 or colder, the snow has sublimated. Sublimated? It's gone from a solid to a gas. The sun is not melting this particular snow. It will have sublimated. So you will have opportunities for it to disappear, Maybe it disappears from your backwoods or back roads, but it is going to be probably a challenge because there are many, many people. I've learned in any market I've worked at, and there are many, many people that just don't drive in the snow very well. They just don't. And if they're in the roads and they're having to navigate, we want to make sure that you know who's driving. If Dad has the keys, hey Dad, well maybe you should sit this one out. Something like that. Just make sure everybody's careful. That's my bottom line, my point there. I got let's see here. Keegan Patrick wants to know another question. Says, hey, how many more hours of snow are left? It's coming down heavy for about an hour. I say about 9 o'clock. That's about it. 9, we saw by 9, 10 o'clock it starts to break up. It did show this graphic. Confidence was low. Again, these are scattered, these are going to become soon scattered snow showers. But 2 to 4, what happens is people, as I've said before, will take the highest number in the range, put that in their pocket. So you said 4, you said 1, 4, 8, and 12. That's what people do. But the problem is people were putting out enormous amounts of numbers as far back as Tuesday. Not a good look. Not a good look, and certainly not a confidence builder. Higher confidence for North Carolina. We continue to see this fill in, and then once it's done, it's done. So we saw the Futurecast. You could actually watch the live stream at the beginning when I'm done, and you'll be able to see it actually shown. It'll show you the timeline. It does show signs of breaking up around 9, 10, 11 o'clock this evening. So there we are, 7-day forecast. Thanks a lot. Let's see here. Stacy saying, sounds like it. They're covered in Newport News. Who bought stock in grocery stores this week? Yeah, that's also the problem I make light of. But I'm sure they love your business, right? That's why cooler heads prevail. That's not only true of the forecaster who's issuing a snow map maybe before it's time. Just remember, all forecasts are not created equal. Some are more difficult than others. You know what the easiest forecast? High pressure, sunny and 70. Hey, I guess I'll move to San Diego. But you know what? Even San Diego has mountains, so they have different elevations and different forecasts. So if you got to forecast something easy, you say, oh, I didn't spend much time on it. But when you have something as intricate as this that can change on a dime, you're constantly looking for more information, and sometimes you have to go with your gut. I can actually draw a handful of times where I've seen storms like this and how they behave, and I take notes. I take lots of notes. And so I'm able to draw upon that when the next storm like this happens. Does that make sense? I know. I hope you'll come back. And if you're buying stuff at the stores, cooler heads prevail. Wait to find out what you need, right? Say, okay, this is the snow plan. 1 to 2 days out, let's go out. Now, granted, if people are flying off the shelves with all the toilet paper, hopefully people can share. That's all I say. Okay, I've gone on long enough. You guys have been patient with me. I really do appreciate all of you and your time. I just want you to know that we will continue on this path, which is winter, in the days to come, and eventually it will warm up. Our warmest day next week, clearly, is Tuesday at 44 degrees. But we got to wait a couple more days before we get there. Well, just remember, and I'm going to show you an end on a picture, an image of warmer days from years or even months past or in the future. It's a beach photograph. Hopefully animation that will warm your heart. Anyway, just remember, it doesn't matter if it's sunny or stormy. It doesn't matter if it's sunny or serious. Just remember, every day is a gift. Make the most of it in your neighborhood. We'll see you here next time. Take care.